Today is the Superintendent of Michigan Center Schools, Brady Cook. Hi, Brady.
Good to see you, Bart. Always
Welcome
a pleasure.
back. Yes, nice to see you back. Glad to have you with us, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah. Yeah, great week for teachers and all school staff in general. The weirdest thing I saw that yesterday was Principal Appreciation Day on a Sunday, but
On a Sunday.
it takes the whole village, for all the school staff, but especially the teachers this week. It's their week.
So I know you come from a family of educators. Both your parents teachers, right?
Yep, I do, and we do. My mom was a teacher, my dad was a teacher. They both ended up going into administration and retired as principals. My brother Ryan is a teacher in Dearborn at Lowry Middle School, was the Dearborn Teacher of the Year a few years back and was nominated again this year. My brother Roger teaches in Grass Lake, throws dodgeballs at elementary students. He's a K4 elementary PE teacher. And then my less good-looking twin is a principal at East Jackson, but he was a teacher also. So all educators in our family, man.
That's amazing. That sounds like a story for a national feature. Both parents, all four boys, teachers, right?
That is correct.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just for good measure, a couple of us married teachers too.
So, well, of course, you're all teachers. You're fans of teachers, fans of education. When all you guys were growing up, was it like, this is just what we're going to do?
I think we got great role model. We had great role models in the home for what education really is and what it really means. And something I talk to groups of educators all the time. When all of us, when Brandon, when you think back about what teachers had the greatest impact on you when you were in school and you reflect on that, you rarely come back with, oh, they were so great because they taught me the Pythagorean theorem, or I really learned to spell because of that teacher. It's rarely you get to the heart of that. It's more, this person was funny, this person encouraged me to go down this career path, this person gave me food when I needed it, whatever it may be. We learned growing up that teaching is so much more than just the X's and O's in the teacher capacity. And unfortunately, I only taught 6 years, and it was the best, hardest, most rewarding, most difficult years of my life. And that's why, from the bottom of my heart, this week should mean so much to so many, because we've all been impacted by teachers. But it is a tough gig, and it's so much harder now than when I did the gig. But people have to understand that the learning part, which is huge, is about that much, and everything else they do, which literally shapes the lives of the kids that come through their buildings. There's nothing else that has that kind of impact on people's young ones.
I agree, and I never really was a teacher, but I've taught continuing ed and a couple other things, and doing that really gave me a much greater appreciation of how hard a teacher works, and really it's amazing. And I agree with Brady. We salute all those in education, all teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you. Thanks. Now take the rest of the year off. Well, not just yet. A few more weeks.
Yep.
And really busy weeks. I noticed the prom started this past weekend. We're starting to see, we have college graduations yesterday, Saturday, and now here we are in May.
Yeah, May is a blur, May and June for schools. We actually, our prom this year is at the Jackson School of the Arts on Saturday night, so that will be super cool. We're looking forward to breaking in the new venue. And then you have all of your graduation festivities. Our seniors are out in 3 weeks, and that's the case, I think, at most schools in the area. At the elementaries, you have your field days, your kind of end of the year field trips and those things. So May will fly by. It'll be a very busy month.
Yeah, and spring sports hampered by this crazy weather. I know you've had to cancel and postpone games and meets so far, but I guess it's part of spring sports, isn't it?
It is. We're not ready. The term we came up the other day, we combined fall, winter, spring. So we're not in the spring season. We're in the, what do we call it, fall winning season, because it's kind of a combination of all those things. Yeah. I will say big shout out to the ADs everywhere and the teams and the coaches for trying to fit in whatever they can fit in, wherever they can fit it in. So a couple years ago, these kids missed out on those events completely. So we will take what we can get, and if it's kind of a snow thunder or a sideways rain or whatever, we're going to try to play through it because we need to get these guys games.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty decent day on the afternoon that Kosovo was honored at the field, and you had a great talk that day as well. And what a great way to keep his name and everything about him in the memory of the Michigan Center family.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then today, actually, they're doing a dedication. Dawson Brown was a fantastic track athlete, amongst other things. So they're actually doing a dedication for him at the track meet today at 4:30. And then Richie is always in our thoughts as well. And Richie was a spectacular athlete, so we need to find a way to honor all the boys. But yeah, we've been blessed with pretty nice weather on those types of events.
Yeah,
So.
well, somebody's looking down, I bet. So how are the teams doing so far?
It's been very disjointed, but all of our teams. It's one of those where we don't have one single team that's out there winning every single game, but it also feels like we're super competitive in everything, and we do have some stellar individuals. In addition to that, we learned recently that Caden Highland from our football team is invited to participate in the state all-star game coming up this summer. So we've had a lot of good news. I see a lot of the soccer picks there, and man, that's a program that a few years back we didn't know we'd be able to sustain it long term, and this year they just keep getting better. Coach Scaife does an incredible job with the girls, but the numbers too. We keep adding to the numbers, so that's been an awesome addition to Michigan Center has a lot of excellent programs, so we're ready to add one more to the top echelon. Well,
you've had some very successful teams, in particularly the fall and winter, but really stocked heavily with seniors. So you've got up and comers to replace them, hopefully. We do, and this goes all the way back to my starting at Michigan Center. You worry so much, both not just athletics, but we've had such good kids, and you worry that the next year you're not going to have that again. And even as far as sports, like, oh, we're not nearly as talented next year. And it seems like every year people step up athletically, they step up scholastically, they step up as leaders. And it truly is a culture, I think, that just grows excellence and greatness, and it never runs out. The well is, full. Well, a lot of opportunities to watch the Cardinals in all the spring sports. So check out On Deck every day on the Extreme Dodge Sports Scoreboard on jtv.tv, and go to the games, go to the meets. They love it. Bring a blanket and a sandwich.
Bring a blanket, sunscreen, winter clothes, summer clothes, all of it.
Yeah, I was at a Jackson Rec soccer game on Saturday, and Mike and Lonnie Shore bring this bubble. It looks like a tent, but it's completely see-through plastic, and they sit and watch their grandkids in that. So, and they're very embarrassed, and they should be. They have grown in popularity, and now you can get like the two-seater, and you can put a small family in those things. People make fun of them, but at the same time they're shivering and jealous, and we've seen those bubbles pop up. Yeah, we were jealous.
Pretty good early season equipment.
Yeah, it's the evolution of the fold-up soccer chair. That's the next thing. So how many seniors in the class of 2022 at Michigan Center, Brady?
I don't have the exact number in front of me, but we have a steady kind of between 100 to 115 in an average class, and it kind of ebbs and flows. And then by the end of senior year, and with students having a lot more options these days, I think this year it'll be a little smaller, but a great group, just like we talk about every year, it seems like, but just an outstanding group of kids that we will miss dearly. They definitely left their mark. Tomorrow, we've got a couple of school districts that have bond elections, bond votes, Concord and Western, I believe. Nothing in Michigan Center. Nope. But you do have some plans on the horizon for some improvements. We do. And this was something that was an issue for us and for schools all over the place that was illuminated during COVID, and that was addressing air quality. We did take basically all of the money we were allotted in that ESSER 3 American Rescue Plan funds, and we created some projects to bring in more fresh air, to get better controls of the equipment we do have. But the bottom line is, they're all over the county. There are schools that were built in the 1950s that are pretty restrictive in allowing for fresh air intake. For us, we've always had some issues with the controls, just because it's hard to get controls of what we do have with old boilers and things. So we did commit a large sum, well, our ESSER 3 funds, to upgrading that across all of our district buildings. We're aware that we're going to need a little extra beyond what we have in that grant. So we are not on the ballot tomorrow, but it won't be too long before we're potentially coming out asking for some support to, it's either all of us deal with this, somewhere along the line, you're either going to have to build new buildings or you're going to have to retrograde and upgrade equipment to make it more safe, I guess is the easiest way to say it, and comfortable for kids.
Yeah. Well, the state legislature is hinting that they are not going to have the annual state budget ready until maybe even early July, which of course does not help school districts whose fiscal year starts on July 1, but it sounds like they are increasing the per pupil allocation for local school districts in this upcoming budget.
It does, and I'll tell you, every year is tricky when it comes to school finance. This year especially, coming off these years where you had the ability to offset some costs with grants and things, or what a lot of us did, which was the responsible thing to do, is we potentially added positions to address the needs that happened during the last couple of years because we had the money in our hands to be able to do it. So when we're sitting here not knowing exactly what funds will be available, what an increase might be, it does make it difficult to plan long-term how you're going to keep these. What we've learned too is these positions we've added are incredibly valuable, typically dealing with student mental health and wellness, things like that, that they need now more than ever. So it is a little it's always tricky.
Yeah.
This year, tad trickier than most.
Typically, it's the time when teachers retire at the end of the school year. Do you have any big holes to fill over the summer?
We do not. We do have a few retirements of outstanding employees. So I would love to announce, I don't know if they'd want the public to hear those names yet, but we have been very fortunate in Michigan Center that we haven't had many problems filling those holes when they come up, because I think people, by word of mouth or knowing people that work for us, are cognizant of what our culture is, and we don't, we tend to, when we have an opening, we close it pretty quickly with a really high quality employee.
Awesome. The employer of choice.
I hope so.
We appreciate your time today. Good luck to everyone as the school year winds down.
All right, thank you. Always a pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Brady.
Yep, take care.
Yep, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Brady Cook, Superintendent at Michigan Center Schools. Speaking